Welcome to Behind the Scenes at ID8 Studios, the place where we explore the art of producing art. I'm Steve Sue, and this is my buddy,
Crystal Backey, and we're here with Wayne Grieve.
Good morning.
Hi, Wayne.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm very well. How are you guys?
Brilliant. Good. And we're excited for the topic, which is, Crystal?
How to survive a touring production.
Yes.
Because you've been on many, right?
I've been on a few of those.
Musical
yes,
theater
musical
primarily.
theater.
But I think this is as relevant to music production, like concert touring, and
Sure.
any type of touring, right?
Sure. It requires a lot of energy to do 8 shows a week, from 2 matinees and 6 performances in the evening. So it's pretty tough, and you've got to keep keep the stamina and the character that you're playing at a pinnacle every night, so that people that are paying for seats at the very first performance, when it first opened, right to the very end of the show, maybe 6 months later, it's got to be right up there on top.
Right, because it's like everyone seeing it for the first time every night.
Absolutely. And people are paying money to see the production. So hence you've got to give them the best, the absolute best.
So the whole thing with like being up for it, the performance side is one thing, but there's also this traveling side. How far do they travel between
Oh my
cities?
goodness.
And maybe just tell us a little bit about one tour that you've been on. How many cities would you hit in how many days? And
Yeah. I was in a production of Jesus Christ Superstar for almost 12 months. And it was a touring production only in the UK. Now, in the United Kingdom, we have many large cities, and you would go from the very top of the British Isles, Scotland, right down to the very south point to a major town and city called Plymouth, where we would perform. So you would actually have, in between the north and the south, you might have 20 different cities that you're going to play at. So in actual fact, you would be doing at least one whole week for Jesus Christ Superstar because of the setup of the sets. When I was in Jesus Christ Superstar, we had the original Sean Kenny sets, who was the set designer for the West End production at the Palace Theatre. So it was a complicated set, lots of lights and a rake of the stage, and in that on this raked stage itself was a brass metal crucifix that would then finally come up out of the rake.
do you know what a rake is, Crystal?
No, I don't.
You don't?
Yeah, that's important for her to know because
Okay.
you want to be on a rake one day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
So a rake is a platform that's at an angle like this. We'll say at a 35, 40 degree
30,
angle.
yeah, 30. It makes the scene look deeper.
Oh, okay.
It forces the perspective.
Yes, yeah.
And so
But it's hard to walk on that thing as a performer, right? Because you get
It
all kinds
is.
of ankle issues and knee issues.
It's because you have to step up onto it, and this one was it was lit. It had box lights. I think that's what they call it, box lights in the rake itself, as well as the crucifix that finally came up and snapped into position where Jesus was finally put on the cross. The getting of those sets together are very complicated. It's not a kind of tour that you would be up and fixed for in 3 or 4 hours. It would take maybe a whole day to get it.
So that's your day of break.
That's the day of break. You normally not have to perform until Monday night.
So what would you do on the day of break to
and
recover?
Monday night. Excuse me.
What would you do on the day of break to recover?
Oh, sleep.
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 Maybe have a few drinks the last night of our performance on Saturday, because you got the whole day off on Sunday. Now, interestingly, you guys here in the States perform on a Sunday at professional theatres, whereas in the UK for many years it was only Monday to Friday, and you'd have 2 matinees, one on a Wednesday and one on a Saturday. So we actually got a full day off, and also the following day, Monday, up until, say, 5 o'clock, to where the next show was opening at another city. So you'd have to get really that Sunday would be traveling, actually. No, excuse me, Monday would be traveling to the city that you're going to perform at.
I'm really interested in how you bring your A game, like, every night.
It's difficult. It's very difficult. For instance, one evening, your concentration levels have to be absolutely finely tuned. I played the part of Anis, and Anis had a microphone that he used as a threatening object. And so most of the singers and the members of the cast had head mics. But I had, and the other high priest, who is Caiaphas, we both had handheld mics because it looked threatening. Well, just that split second of not thinking, I sang my line, and I forgot to bring up my mic. That's only a small thing, but it looked like a big thing actually, because the audience could hear not me, they could hear me singing, but without microphone. So you've got to be really on the ball, even a simple thing like that. And there's during the choreography, you have to be all over the blinking place,
So how do you survive though? I mean, you're saying you need to do it, but what are the tricks? What's the tips?
Yeah, like, do you meditate every day, or do you have to do like a morning routine?
Well, you always go through your lines again every day before you go into performance. And we also have a vocal warm-up on the stage before the actual opening of the night's show. So you're psyching yourself up, you're thinking about your character, you're thinking about...
Does everybody do all that? I mean,
we're all like a one big family. So we all come together and work together. We're working together on stage. We're working together off stage too. And when you're in a small company, maybe 20, 30 people, you become after a while like family. And it's really wonderful.
So are there traditions, like you go drinking together on the days off?
Oh, yeah.
Or
We used when I first started over 40 years ago, you got paid cash.
Uh-huh.
And Thursday night, you'd get your pay, and we'd all go out, and we'd all have a few drinks. Some of us that were young at that time would have too many blinking drinks, and then we'd maybe feeling a little bit under par to do the show. But you managed to get through it. You've got to get through it. You have to be responsible, though. You can't go out and stay out all night when you've got to perform in front of 1,000 people the next night.
Keep your eye on the ball.
Yeah. That's what you're being paid for. So it's important.
What about things like injuries? I mean, obviously, if you twist your ankle on the stage and then you cannot make the moves.
Oh, sure. Well, we have understudies for that. So an understudy would take over, and you would rest your leg. I mean, they don't send you on limping.
Yeah, but it's also probably like football players. They're going to go on. They'll hide your injury, or you want the time,
The
right?
show goes on.
Yeah.
The show must go on, as they say. So you grin and bear it and get through it. But, there are times when it's impossible for someone to go on because they really are incapacitated and they can't get on.
Mm-hmm.
So have you done touring productions in the United States also?
No, I haven't actually, because it's only just in these recent years that I've actually got my American citizenship. In fact, no, I haven't got my American citizenship. I've got my green card.
Good enough.
Good enough.
We're ready for you.
But I've only had that for the last 8 years. And I'm working on doing some more theatre in the United States.
But would you want to do a touring production now at your age? Because it sounds like
yes,
it's quite grueling,
I'd love
huh?
it.
Yeah?
It's grueling, but I want to give it a go.
Okay.
Because entertainment is in your blood. And, you just know that it's what you love more than anything in the world. And even at 60, whatever I am...
you should have said 50 plus.
I should have said 50 plus.
Yeah.
Can
we don't know what the plus is.
Can you edit that?
Yes, of course. We'll edit it. We'll go 40 plus.
Yeah. So, I'd jump at it.
So
and see how I get on.
Yeah, of course. So if you're,
but you do have to be you have to be physically in shape too. It's not just about the vocal exercises and your voice to be in good shape, but you also have to physically be in shape to do those kind of tours, because they're very tiring.
So if you're an older performer, how do you convince the producers that you're up for the game?
Well, if the character is an older gentleman, then I'm going to fit, and they'll
40 plus.
40 plus. Yeah, they. Sorry, could you ask that question again? I've forgotten what you
if you're older, and it's like if you have bad ankles or bad knees, and they're like, I don't know if this guy's going to hold up to like 8 shows a week. How do you convince them that you can do the game?
Well, you kind of take a chance, don't you?
I don't know. I mean.
Well, that's how you crush an audition, right? Like, you gotta walk in with
wrap your
confidence.
knees like really tight before you go in for your audition.
You don't talk about your ailments when you go in for an audition.
Oh, good point. Yeah. Old people do that. They sit around and they just talk about their ailments.
Yes. No, I don't do any of that.
That's smart.
Have you ever heard me talk about my health?
Never.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very sick, actually.
Then we better get you in a show before you croak, because we want to see you in America.
I want to do my last touring production, ASAP. Yep.
Okay, so what's your dream show?
Could you fix it, Chris?
Yeah, we're going to fix it right. You producers out there, what's your dream show, Wayne?
I would love to be in Phantom.
Phantom?
Yes.
Audition for us. Sing us a Phantom song.
Phantom.
I'm always looking out for you, Crystal. So you get to hear him sing.
Yeah.
And me too. I love Phantom.
This is Phantom of the Opera, right?
Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah.
I've gone completely blank at this moment in time, but it'll come to me in a second. All I want is freedom.
Yes.
Forget those wide-eyed fears. I'm here. Nothing will harm you. Your arms were still la-da-da-dee-da-da-da-da-dum. Sorry, it's all gone out of my head. La-dee-da-da-da-da-dum. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. No, stop, please.
Wow, I love that. Brilliant. Wow. Will soon. The next American version of something as grand as Phantom.
Phantom. I would love to be in Phantom.
You've worked with those guys before,
well,
of course, right?
I've got a trained voice, a classically trained voice, so my voice suits Phantom very well indeed, because it's an opera, a modern opera, musical opera. It's sung from beginning to end with very little dialogue, and vocally, and trained voice is perfect for that kind of music, as would Les Miserables too. The advantages of having a trained voice, any guys out there that want to get into the business, think about having singing lessons and training your voice so that you can have the vocal stamina, stretch your voice. You sometimes will find that your voice has a completely different range. It can be higher than you ever thought because of the exercises that you've done, the support, the approach, the technique. There are lots of different wonderful teachers out there with different techniques of singing. Go look for several different music teachers, singing teachers.
That's a good podcast to do. Mm-hmm. How to choose a vocal teacher. Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, and we'll do that next, because that's we want to know that.
It's finding the right teacher. If you don't feel comfortable with him or her, then you look for another one.
So I was looking this up on the internet because, of course, our good friend Betty Gerson, she had mentioned to me, "Oh, I think you're a tenor," and I'm like, "Oh, really? That's awesome!" And she says it in such a way; it's wonderful that you're a tenor. I looked it up online. 70% of men are tenors.
Yes. It's unbelievable.
She made it seem like it was a minority, and she was very surprised when I told her that. And so, men tend to sing lower than their best natural vocal range.
But there are very few tenors that really are up there.
And you can be one of them, because you have a tremendous range. Yeah. I've heard stories about you singing in your natural voice up at the ceiling, and
Up
people
at
are
the
like
ceiling,
stunned.
I crack glasses with my voice.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you want me to just do that now?
Yeah. He could crack this plastic bottle with his voice.
Listen, how does that sound?
Yeah.
That's,
Amazing.
that's crushing it.
That's crushing it. How to crush
How to
a
crush
traveling
a bottle.
production with Wayne Grace. Thank you, Wayne. You're brilliant. Yes. And for all of us here at Behind the Scenes at ID8 Studios, we appreciate you, Wayne. For more about us and the show, check out id8studios.org. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.